Welcome to September 19th edition of the Thursday Night News. Once again, I drug you into this, willingly this time.
I can't speak to that because apparently I can't speak without using my hands, so I'll just have to sit
You want
here.
a pen here to throw around?
I have my glasses, so I have my glasses and my coffee.
Those are more expensive than a pen, so
Okay.
you hold on to that.
Thank you.
Well, there's a lot to talk about this week. A lot of it I kind of want to skip. Don't.
Okay.
Like this. I want to keep FairburyTV light. I don't want to talk about all the crime.
I agree.
We feature that in the newspaper.
We can save that stuff for the paper, yes.
Let's talk about the Powerball.
What about the Powerball?
Are you going to buy me a ticket?
Did I win?
No, I'm going to win it.
Well, supposedly there's a pool here at the paper where we all give Susan money.
She doesn't do it anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I just give her money and she puts it in her pocket.
I have no idea. She
Why-
used to keep it in some, is it a cup? We need to get back on
We
that.
need to do that because we need to win the Powerball. How much is the Powerball?
400 million.
We need 400 million.
Would you actually stay in Fairbury if you won? You'd go to Florida.
I'd go to Florida,
I'd go to Florida.
but not with me.
Well, no, but
No.
you'd have to buy me a house in Florida.
Okay.
Okay. What would you buy? What would the first thing be?
Boy, that's an interesting.
Or do?
That's okay. And this is on a serious note. The very first thing I would do is I'm a big believer in St. Jude's Hospital down in Memphis, and I contribute to them every year. And I'd always kind of made a mental note to myself that if I ever hit it big, St. Jude's would get a big portion of it.
There are commercials that they have twice a year. Do you ever listen to them on
Yes,
the radio?
yes, I do.
Oh,
Yes, I do.
I bawl. So sad.
And I contribute to St. Jude's, and truly they turn no child away.
No.
You hear stories about people and how they buy small islands, and then all the relatives that they didn't know they have come out of the woodwork. And in my case, it'd be all the relatives I have that I don't like
Right.
probably would come out of the woodwork. So I mean, I think it'd be really important to keep it quiet.
Well, I think you'd have to move.
I think you probably would.
Because even people around here would call you, oh, hey, Fred, you have so much money. Spot me a 10,
And,
you
and
know.
my kids don't have shoes to go to school, and
Well, do you work?
exactly. I think you probably would have to move.
I think so.
You know, as much as I like living here, as much as I have a history in Fairbury and my family does, I think you probably would have to move.
Not that Florida would be a problem.
No.
I'm ready to go back to
I
Florida.
would just wear, pauper clothing and walk around the beach and
Would you wear a bro tank?
30 years ago, maybe, probably not now.
We need to get you in a bro tank. You can wear your coveralls over it.
I would just probably get a Jimmy Buffett t-shirt.
Yeah, it's always 12 o'clock.
Grow out my hair and never shave again.
Hi, this is Grandma.
Hello, Grandma. I love you, Mom. I love you.
Hey, how's it going? How's the move? What's your room look like? I'm gonna put a picture over there and over there. Where are you going? Your room looks totally cool. And yeah, that's a good idea. Move the bed there. I can't wait to see you. I miss you so much.
Diode Communications, making internet connections faster.
Anything catch your eye in the news lately?
Oh, gosh, you kind of put me on the spot there. Poof. I'm a big cruiser of Yahoo News.
Any
And
weird news? That's my favorite section.
The weird news. There was the lobster that they've now called Edward Scissorhands that has apparently 12 claws on each side or whatever it is. But what really caught my news was the whole Bo Pelini thing, and I know everybody's beat that to death. That's now on Yahoo News.
Is it really?
Yeah.
He's a human being. It irritates me, you know.
Well, it just, I mean, I don't approve of what he did,
No.
but still,
It's an emotional sport. It's an emotional city. It's an emotional fan base. I mean, just as you don't think there are fans out there dropping F-bombs during the game.
exactly, and you never know who's got a tape recorder, who's got a video recorder or whatever, I might sit here, Christ, Nicole, what the You do one,
Butterfly.
and somebody's gonna record that. I don't
know who would do that
I
here.
don't know
We're
who
not
would do
on.
that here.
Yeah.
Not that I would ever, walk around the paper,
Kick a trash
kick a
can.
trash can across the room, throw tools. Not that I would ever do that, but you never know who's listening, so.
Right.
But I mean, that really caught my attention on Yahoo
Well,
News
it's
this
been
week.
everywhere. I know you're not on Facebook, but
No,
man, Saturday and Sunday, and people are so bipolar when it comes to Nebraska football. I didn't get to watch the game, but you check your news feed and it's, oh, go Huskers, yeah. We're up 21-3. Well, then they start scoring, end up with a 38 straight points.
38 straight points
38 straight
unanswered.
points, and then everybody hates the Huskers.
I've got a friend who hates Nebraska football, and we trash talk back and forth. And matter of fact, I bet him $10 that Nebraska was going to win. So I was like, telling him I wanted my money in ones counted out in front of me, in front of all the guys. And as the game went on, he starts
Slowly pulling your foot out of your mouth.
oh yeah, as I am prone to do. He starts texting me, and he starts texting in lowercase, and then he texts in caps, and then all caps, and then he figures out how to text in
Smileys.
smileys and boldface, and it's like,
Yeah.
but that's really kind of the big news that everybody's talking about, at least around here.
Lily's Flowers and Gifts can make your 2013 homecoming marvelous with custom-made corsages and boutonnieres. Bring your ideas or even your dress and we will create a unique design to match your homecoming apparel. We are conveniently located on the east side of the square. Flowers can be picked up after the parade on the 27th of September.
Have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
I love this.
I have no problems with that.
If you see some of the girls walking around with their little, they're 14 and you can almost see their butt cheeks hanging out of their shorts.
I wore shorts like that in the 70s.
How long was your hair?
My hair was down to my shoulders.
Oh, is that when you had the chops?
I had big mutton chop
Yeah.
sideburns. I had Mike Nesmith sideburns, and I used to wear cutoffs like that. That's the way cutoffs are supposed to be worn. That's my generation. And then I used to wear my white socks, the
Yeah.
white
The
tube
tall-
socks that came almost up to your knees. You put white tube socks on up to your knees.
I bet you had a bro tank then, huh?
I did have a bro tank.
Yeah. Would you do that to your daughter? To embarrass her? Have you ever done anything really embarrassing?
You'd have to ask my daughter that. She thinks I'm a constant source of embarrassment.
Have you ever went out of your way?
The only time I ever went out of my way to embarrass my daughter, and I don't know, yeah, I guess I did go out of my way to do this on purpose. She brought this guy home, and I was visiting. I've got an office at home, and I was sitting there cleaning my shotgun, opening it and closing it, and explaining how I was sure that he would be decent to my daughter.